Hey guys, how's it going? All right, it's time to show you our weekly meal plan for this week, which would officially start on the 4th of January and then run until pretty much the following Saturday. We kind of go Saturday to Saturday since that's when we typically do our grocery shopping right now. It was on Fridays. That's the day I kind of reset things. Either I finish up the last meal from the previous week or start the first meal for the next week, just depending how the week fell. So let me show you what I'm doing this week. Okay, first of all, I hope that you've watched my grocery haul video so that way you can see some of the stuff we got. Some of this won't be a surprise then, such as the al pastor tacos. That's on our meal plan. First of all, I'm gonna go ahead and show you everything I've got here for this last week. You can see we actually managed to do everything. You can also see that those crescent wraps, those were made. I have that video. It was made later in the week than I had originally planned. So it is going to, the video on how I do those will be up later this week. So I planned on having it done last week. I'm sorry about that. It just, we ate them later than we had intended to. So you can see we had all of that. Soup, that we did not end up having. That is something that was put in there as a just in case. It's a fast, easy meal for me to make. We ended up not needing it because a lot of the kids were gone a couple different times. And yeah, so there was a meal that we didn't end up needing, and that's the easiest one to cut. The other one we didn't do was the grilled cheese with roasted veggies. Again, that's when we have such easy access to bread. I try to always have cheese slices in the fridge, and we keep the veggies in the freezer so that way, you know, I can make that anytime. So as we were going through the week, those were the things that got cut. Now, one thing you are going to notice that got cut or crossed off here, check it out. We made the shepherd's pie. If you follow me on Instagram, you may have seen a picture of some of that dished up. Sean wanted me to take it in the big Polish pottery casserole dish that I made it in, because for our family, we had to double the recipe as it was, and it was a pretty filling recipe. But in the pan, because of the way it's fluted, it actually made the potatoes seem very disproportionate. So it looked like there was a lot of potatoes and just a tiny bit of filling underneath. And that's not actually how it was. But it didn't look quite right. And yeah, it was pretty in the dish, but it was better to show you guys how it was dished up so that you can see it was about half potato, half filling. So that's a little bit better as far as that goes. It is a recipe that was a huge hit. Took a little bit more work because you have to cook a lot of stuff on the stovetop and then bake it, but it was really good and everybody could and did eat it. Although our youngest was convinced that the peas were beans, and his 7-year-old brother has convinced him beans are not good. So that was a whole other conversation though. Okay, so the soup, I'm not even gonna worry about carrying over because that's stuff that we carry all the time. The grilled cheese and roasted veggies, that's something I'm just gonna leave sitting. I'm not gonna reschedule it, but it is a good backup option as we go forward. So as you're gonna see, I actually have the next 2 weeks done. So here this week, we're having cabbage soup. This is actually a recipe that I used to make quite often that the older kids have been asking for. It's been at least a year since I made it. So we picked up 2 heads of cabbage for that, which honestly, we couldn't remember if it took 1 or 2 heads of cabbage, but that's okay because our entire family actually really likes to eat roasted cabbage. So if it only takes 1, then we'll do that. I'm gonna have to pull the recipe out because it's been a while since I made it. Okay, so I've got a chicken and rice dish or soup. This one, basically, I just plan on using some chicken, probably from the chickens that we cook in the Instant Pots, and then some sort of rice, whether I throw it into a soup or if I make the chicken with a sauce and put it over the rice. We'll kind of see on that one. Typically, that either is pretty safe for everybody. That it probably will be one of the first meals, though, that gets cut if we run out of time this week. And that is actually because the chicken that I have is frozen. I don't have fresh chicken that has to be used, something that can carry over. I've got plans next week for fresh chicken. The next one is going to be the al pastor tacos. That's the tray of marinated al pastor pork that we buy at Sam's Club. I make that in the Instant Pot. The recipe for that is actually in the recipe playlist. And if I think about it, I'll try to link that down below in the description. Pizza toast. This is a cop-out meal, guys. I've got enough other stuff that I'm actually making. The pizza toast is exactly what it sounds like. It is toast. I take slices of bread, I lay it on a cookie sheet, I slather some pizza sauce on it, sprinkle some shredded cheese, put pepperonis on it if that kid likes it, and if I've got them, which I do, and bake it for about 10 to 15 minutes. It crisps up the bread because it's toasting it, melts the cheese. Guess what? Pizza toast. And, well, yeah, it's fresh out of the oven. So it's kind of a fun thing here. We don't do it too often, but we do that. Bean burritos. Funny story behind this. This was not part of my original plan. But when I made refried beans the last time, I had, if you've seen the video where I do that, I make them fresh here. I cook them in the Instant Pot, puree everything, and then I put them in gallon bags and freeze them. What I try to do is I kind of lay the bag flat so it kind of like spreads out into this almost bean patty. That freezes and it's really easy to thaw when it's time to use it. I can drop it in a pan, it cooks really quickly or reheats. The child I had sent to take them out to the garage freezer forgot that I had said, sorry, I thought I heard one of the kids. Oh, you hear him. Had missed the part where they need to lay down on their side. And she had sat them up on, think of a standard old school freezer shelving. That's the wire racks. Well, what that did is the beans in the bag kind of molded down around the bars. I had 2 bags that were completely stuck to the bars in the freezer. There was a third bag that wasn't so much because it was semi-sitting on top. But I had to bring them in, and if I tried to force them off, it was going to rip the bags and we'd have to use them anyhow, and then it'd run the risk of going over. So I brought the whole thing in, left it laying on the counter for a couple hours till it thawed enough I could pop the bags out of the rungs. And they're in the freezer now. So I have 2, which normally we would mix the refried beans with hamburger to make tacos. But now we're just having bean burritos, which the kids are really excited about. I'm just gonna have to make refried beans again soon. And you know, that's okay. It's really easy to do, and we buy the pinto beans in bulk, so that works. Okay, and last but not least is this popcorn chicken. Now, if you watched the meal plan, that's actually the Southern style chicken bites that they're kind of like a dill flavored. Sean had picked them up once before. The kids each got a couple. They really liked them, so I grabbed 2 bags so everybody can eat them. We're gonna have that with macaroni and cheese and whatever else we make with it that day. And that is our meal plan. So we've got the 1 cop-out meal, technically 2 because the beans are already made and they really just have to slap it on tortillas with some cheese and taco sauce if they want it. And then the popcorn chicken is already made. I just have to cook it in the oven. In fact, the macaroni and cheese will take more effort than the chicken will. So we're kind of a 50-50 split this week. 3 meals are going to take a little bit more effort. 3 meals that are completely easy, which, yeah, that works. I think this might be about our last week where we don't have a whole lot going on as we get into the swing of things here in the new year. But that's where it is. Now, before I sign off, I do want to go ahead and show you guys. You're going to hear my clock chiming in the background. So you can see I've got the next week already done. When I'm making up my grocery list, I keep a tally on, I've just got a little notepad that hangs on the side of the fridge. I go ahead and I write down anything that I know we're getting low on or that we're gonna need. So like I've got vitamins for the kids written on there. For the following week, I've got trash bags written on there because I know we're gonna need them at that point. Then when I make my meal plan, I will go through and figure out, okay, what ingredients do I not have? Okay, then that's what I go ahead and I write down. Throughout the rest of the week, then I go ahead and if we start running out of something or I realize, oh, hey, I need to get more of this, then I go ahead and do that. So I keep an eye, we keep an actual snack drawer in our kitchen for the little ones. And that's what they go and they grab something out of when it's snack time between breakfast and lunch, and then again between lunch and dinner. And I kind of keep an eye on that. If it's getting low, not quite enough things to get us through an entire week, then I'll go ahead and I'll put snacks on the list. that there's no true set thing that I always buy. There are some that everybody likes a little bit more than others, but it's really based on whatever Sam's Club or one of the other stores has on hand, like in stock, that looks good. And I do try to change it up because, you know, things get a little old if you keep having the same thing all the time. So yeah, that's how I write up my grocery list. Now I do also try to keep an eye as I'm starting it. So before I start my meal plan, I'm gonna look and see how many things I've pre-written on the list that I know we're gonna run out of. So if there's like 3 or 4 big household items, like I know we're gonna have to get toilet paper and Kleenex and garbage bags and dish tabs, well, those things really add up. So first what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna try to see if we really need them all that exact same week, or if 1 or 2 of the items can be pushed off in either direction. Then what I do is based on what I'm buying for that type of stuff, then I go ahead and I try to write the meal plan based on either keeping it simple cost-wise, or, you know, if we've got some more wiggle room. So, you know, this week, there were a couple extra things. I had to buy a couple extra things I did buy. But you know, the al pastor meat, that was probably the biggest expense beside the 2 fried chickens that we buy to cook in the Instant Pot. Cabbage, it was $1.49 a pound, I think is what we paid for the cabbage. And yeah, the beans we've already got, but I think when I buy, it's like a 12-pound bag of dried beans for like $10 or $12. And guys, that goes a really long way. So when I make things like bean burritos, that is a huge cost-saving meal. The cheese does cost, but I mean, it really stretches a long way. So that's kind of one of those tips that I've really come to appreciate as far as budgeting and everything. And that's also what helps us to continue to feed our family for, and I'm going to go ahead and say under $300 a week, because $300 is our budget. Like this week, I did get very close to it, but typically we stay under it, especially now that I am doing it all in cash and staying even more on top of exactly what we're getting. You know, we did get so close this week because we bought the 40 boxes of macaroni and cheese. I mean, without that, I mean, that right there would have shaved $32 off of our total. So yeah, I think it's safe to say that we feed our family of 9 for under $300 a week. And that is something I'm going to take a lot of pride in. So, sorry about this. It's getting late, and yeah, apparently I'm getting a little congested tonight. So there it is. That is our meal plan for this week. Hopefully that light is not causing it to do anything too funky. I have no idea what the beeping is. Sean's probably working on a light or something else. And yeah, so I'm going to go ahead and say I hope that you are having a blessed day, or if you're watching this at night in the same way I am recording this at night, I hope you have a good night. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe to my channel, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss anything coming up next. Leave any questions or comments in the comments down below, and I will do my best to get back to them. In the meantime, I will see you in the next one.